Hey everyone, my name is Rob Wiethoff, and I provided the performance capture for John Marston in the Red Dead Redemption series. That's right. I'm here with MCM Presents to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the release of Red Dead Redemption. So excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I want to thank you too for all of the support over the years. It has been completely overwhelming, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I thank you sincerely. You have brought so much joy to my life. We're going to celebrate right here, right now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll make this as fun as we can. All right, let's get started then. Looking back on 10 years of Red Dead Redemption, what does this series mean to you? Oh my goodness. I've tried to express my gratitude so many different times, so many different ways, and I don't think it's possible for me to really share what it means to me to have been so fortunate to have been chosen to be part of such an extraordinary experience. And I think that it's important to point out that not only were the actors that I worked with people that inspired me and entertained me and taught me and have genuinely become good friends of mine to this day. And I can't express how much that means to me, that aspect of it. But also the people that I worked with from that work at Rockstar. I don't know if I can fully thank them for not only the opportunities that they've given me, but also the friendships that I've made with several of them. And the director of the whole series that I worked on, and he's directed so many other of Rockstar's games, is a genuine friend of mine. And I think of him as a friend, a brother, in a lot of ways a father figure. He's not that much older than me. He wouldn't be. I don't think it's possible that he would be my father. I don't think. I don't think that he's really my dad. I guess I can't say that. But he is someone who has guided me, whether he intended to or not. Along with so many others, but I spent so much time with our director. Had dinner with him almost every night when we were in production. Out of control role. That's what he liked at the sushi place that we went to. He could never remember what it was called, but I always did. That was one way I could take care of him, I guess, at the time, where I thought, I got this for you. He wants the out of control role. We would always get edamame. We would always have really, really good conversations. Who cares what he ate? But really good conversations that a lot of them were about the work we were doing, and a lot of them were about personal. I feel like he was a strong influence in the person that I have become since I've started this whole experience, and I appreciate him very much for that, because I think that I'm a better person because of my interactions with him. And I think that there weren't as many people other than the director that I got to spend that much time with that work at Rockstar. But I did make some really good friendships with a lot of the people that work there as well. And these are really cool, really talented, inspiring people to be around. And I think that just being in that environment and seeing people help each other, willing to help each other, it was a really, really well-oiled machine. And I think that every single person that works for Rockstar absolutely wants to do their best and help other people achieve their best as well. And And I think that's probably why they have the success that they do, because they've got it figured out. They cheer each other on. They encourage each other. They make actors feel very welcome, very supported, and it truly, the whole experience and my interactions with these people have, it's made me a better person, and it's made me inspired to try to provide that kind of leadership or help or whatever is needed to other people if they let me know that they need it. I have an idea of how that looks because of my experience with Rockstar, and I couldn't appreciate it more. And so also all the friends that I've made through this experience on social media and at conventions, it's really overwhelming. And I am so happy that I was able to be part of something that has affected so many people in such a positive way. And the ways that I'm hearing through my interactions with you, I don't know that I ever expected to hear. A lot of people have said that Red Dead Redemption, the series now, has carried them through some very, very tough times. And it's amazing to hear that, because we've all had tough times. And to be part of a healing process for someone, I love to hear that. I love to hear whole families tell me how it's brought their family closer together, because they have something that they can all sit down and enjoy together. And it's given them an opportunity to find a way to connect. I love it. I love it. And so, yeah, it's great. It's great to be part of a video game, because I get asked to do fun things like this right now. But it's more, to me, it means more to hear the stories of the people that appreciate the work, because it's made them happier in some way. And I love that. I love it. And I'm overwhelmed by that. So that is my experience. I wouldn't change a thing. What was your experience of auditioning for the role, and what do you think it was that ultimately ended you the part? Were you familiar with Rockstar's work before the auditioning? So my experience with the auditioning, I had one audition, and I was driving home. I don't know where I was. I can't remember where I was driving home from. Possibly from work. I was a bartender in LA. So I could have been coming home from work. I got a call from my agent. They let me know that I had a last minute audition for the project. Was called Untitled Video Game Project. And so this was through my commercial agent. I figured that this was some kind of a promo ad for a video game that had already been made. But for whatever reason, they weren't telling us what the video game name was. And I thought, okay, and it was raining, it was dark outside, I was in traffic in LA, I did not want to go. Honestly, if I could have been quicker on my feet, I might have found a reason to not go. And thank God that I wasn't. So I went home, because I had dogs. I needed to take them out, take care of them, put them back away, back inside, I guess, and drove across town to an audition that turned out to be for Red Dead Redemption, the role of John Marston. So the audition, I went in there, they had a table and a bunch of clothes sitting on this table, and they gave me a whole page of dialogue to try to memorize. And so I did the best I could. I went in the room finally and found this table with clothes on it. And they said, okay, so what we want you to do is say the lines that were given to you. They had them posted on a board. In case you forgot, you could read off this board. But fold the clothes while you're reading the lines. And the lines were something about... yeah, you know how much I love your apple pie. you know how much I love your apple pie, but you know I also have to leave town. And I don't want to leave this way, but I got to go. I got to get out of town. So it was nothing to do with Red Dead Redemption. But I'm folding laundry and saying these lines. Somehow I spit them out. I don't know that I got them all right, but I spit out the lines and folded the laundry. And the guy running the session said, okay, that was great. That was really great what you did. That's not what they're looking for though. So what they want is more this, whatever. And then he said, so we're gonna do another take. And then right when he said that, somebody popped into the room. Somebody else that worked in the studio popped in the room and said, hey, we need you just for a moment. He said, okay, so take those notes, work on it. I'll be right back. So he was gone for like 5 minutes. So now I have it memorized and I know what he wants and I can't wait for him to come back in because I'm gonna nail it this time. So he finally comes back in, but when he comes back in, he's got another guy with him to audition for the role. And when he comes in, it's clear that he has forgotten that I was in there. Because when he's walking in, he's looking down, looking towards the camera, and he sees me, and he thinks, oh! And I said, all right, I'm ready. And he's got this other guy standing there, and he said, you know what, I'm so sorry, we don't have time. What you did the first time was perfect. They're gonna love it, it's perfect. All right, thank you so much. It kind of shuffles me out of the room, and I thought, no, it wasn't perfect. You just told me it wasn't perfect. And then you gave me time to get it perfect, and now you're telling me that there's no time to take another shot at it. So I left there discouraged. I was already upset. It was late. You know what I mean? Last minute, all the way across town, whatever. So I left and kind of thought, whatever. You know, you got to take the good with the bad, right? So a few days later, though, I got a call from my agent saying, hey, you booked that untitled video game project. And I said, oh, right, cool. Wow, really? What is it? And they said, we don't know. We don't know. But here's where you're going to go and here's what time, whatever. And you're going to do a dress rehearsal. So I showed up to the dress rehearsal and that's when I learned what was going on. And that's when I got my non-disclosure agreement, which I signed. And then I learned what was going on. So, yeah, wild. Thank God I went, though. I'm so happy that I went. And I'm so happy that that guy was wrong. Whatever, dude. So, what do you think it was that ultimately earned you the part? I don't know. No idea. Really no idea. Because apparently I did it wrong. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Were you familiar with Rockstar's work before your auditioning? Yes, I was. I'm not much of a gamer. I'm just not. I don't have any problem with video games. I want you to be aware of that. I was when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I would play Nintendo and I would play Super Mario Brothers and all these games that everybody my age at the time loved to play. They were the newest things. They were the games to play. Zelda, Metroid, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. That's when I was playing games, but it was also a time when if it was nice outside, my parents would say, get outside. It's nice out. Get outside. And I appreciate them for that. I do. And I say the same thing to my kids now. Get out. It's nice out. Be outside. It's good for you. Get some sun on your face. Get some, feel the grass. Get outside. Breathe some fresh air. So, but I guess once I went through a summer of being kicked outside, and I kind of got away from playing video games, I just didn't ever really get back into it. But I have enjoyed watching, I guess before I booked the role of John Marston, I enjoyed watching my friends play the Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I don't know which one that is. I don't know which number that was. But yeah, set in Miami, and I would hang out and watch them play. They would give me the controller so I could play, but there were too many buttons I couldn't get into it. So I just would sit and watch. So I understand. I understand what it's like to just be hanging out, watching somebody play. It's really, really fun stuff to be part of. So, yeah, I was familiar. Were there any characters across film or games that inspired your performance? Was the Western genre a big part of that? So my understanding of acting, and I don't know that I have a great understanding of acting, but one of the things that stuck out to me in one of the classes that I took somewhere along the way was you don't want to look like you're acting. You want it to be believable and not look like you're acting. So, you know, I loved the movie Tombstone. I really loved it and watched it who knows how many times. But I think that one thing that I learned is that if you're doing a Western, you got to be a bad, bad man. And there were often times in Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. Probably even Undead Nightmare, where that was you know, kind of quirky. So maybe not so much there, but there were several times that our director would come up to me and say, "You're not being tough enough. You have to know that John Marston is the toughest. But he is afraid of no one." And I thought, okay, yeah, all right, you're right. That's not me though. So I had to find that from somewhere. And maybe it was just after doing it a few times, I found it from John, because I realized what was going on, and I thought, oh yeah, I can get in these people's faces, and I would see their reaction to how John, you know, how they would react to John being tough. And I think that I learned from that, and I don't know that I ever was looking at John Marston as somebody that I wanted to model after anyone else. I just wanted it to be, I think more than anything, I wanted it to feel like it wasn't being acted. That this was John, and he is that bad man. So, yeah. The character of John Marston portrays a great deal of confidence, but also a sense of regret and sadness that runs across the whole story. How did you bring that to the role, and how did it affect you? So, I guess you have to imagine. I can't answer this in a way that probably makes sense, because I wasn't given all of the information at once. I was given it not in sequential order a lot of times, and I was given it only bits and pieces at a time. So I can't say that I made any decisions. I know that I asked a lot of questions, and of course my director had all the answers, and so I trusted him, and I trusted Rockstar, and I just went for it. After a while, I started to be able to piece things together and really get a firm idea of what was actually happening. But I didn't know. I didn't get the entire script all at once and get to really sink my teeth into the character. It just kind of came as it came. And again, I trusted the director. And so the director knew all that and put all that together. Told me what to do, and I did it as best as I could. So yeah, I can't really take credit for that or really fully answer it, because I didn't have all the information that I needed to do what, you know what I'm saying. Have any of your own quirks and personality made it into the character in your performance? And has any part of them rubbed off on you? Yeah, I'm definitely quirky. There's no question about it. It's all right. I'm okay with it. I'm happy with it, actually. I am a firm believer in don't take yourself too seriously, because no one else does. I love that. And you know what? I don't know if it's more that I respect it because I think I know what it means and I'm comfortable with it. It might just be a really good excuse for me. Maybe that's why I like it, because I can lean on it and say, it's not that I'm quirky, it's that I'm not taking myself too seriously because, the saying, nobody else does. Maybe that's what I like about it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is, but I like it. But yeah, I mean, John, I think I'm kind of one of those people that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it all the way. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it until it's done. I'm going to do it. If I'm going to do it, I'm doing it. And so another thing that I learned in acting class is that if someone asks you to be loud and aggressive, then give them everything that you've got. And if it's too much, they'll back you down. So I think a lot of John, I'm not that intense in real life at all. Not close. But I gave them everything I had, and I don't think they ever really backed me down. So maybe that's I don't know. I guess the dedication, if that's a quirk, it probably is in a lot of ways. So yes, that. But John rubbing off on me, I wish in a lot of ways. I mean, I don't want to be someone who's capable of doing some of the things that John is capable of doing. And obviously it's not real life, but I do like the confidence of John Marston. I absolutely respect a man who is not afraid of anyone. I don't know if that's smart all the time, but you just know, like maybe be as confident and also be smart enough to know when you don't need to be so confident. You need to turn and walk away. That would be great too. To have that combo, yeah. But John, he wants to do what's right. You know that. He wants to live a life that is fulfilling. And I think for a long time he just doesn't know how to do that. So once he finds it though, he doesn't let anything get in his way. And I love that, and I respect that, and I feel like in my life I know what's important to me and what would be beneficial to my family, and so that I want that same determination that I saw in John Marston to make that happen for my family, at least that I provide in the best possible way that I can the opportunities for my family to have their happiest, most successful, confident life. Right? So yeah, I hope that part of John Marston rubbed off on me. Have fans got to see more of John Marston's story in the sequel, particularly in the epilogue. How did it feel returning to the role after so long? It felt really, really great. It was for me, when we started this game, Red Dead Redemption 2, I never knew that I was going to be a playable character in the game. I never knew it. I don't know what anybody else thought about it as far as what Rockstar knew. I don't know. But I didn't know. I was not aware that I was going to be a playable character at any point in the game. I had no idea that Arthur was going to have the outcome that Arthur's character had. I had no idea. None of us knew. And again, we weren't given the entire script at once. So one of the things that helped a lot with me returning to the role of John Marston is that I learned early on that he was this young, cocky, got it all figured out. Just give me a chance and I'll show you how bad I am, how tough I am, and how strong I am. And I could be just like Arthur. And I could be just like the rest of the guys that I look up to. I can do that. And the reason that it was easy for me to play that role is because that's who I was when I was 14, 15, 16. Who knows how long that lasted for me, but I was absolutely a guy that looked at, I had an older sister, 3 years older than me. So, when she was a senior in high school, I was a freshman. And so because she had all these friends who were seniors, and I was the little brother who tagged along and tried to fit in with everyone, I at least got to know these guys that I looked up to for so many reasons. You know, when you're a young kid in high school, you look up to the older kids. They're more experienced than you. They're better athletes than you. They know more than you, and you want to be like them. So I know that perspective because I lived it. And yeah, I did it wrong. Absolutely wrong. Nobody wanted me around, I'm sure of it. They were all cool and, you know, whatever, here he is, bring him in, whatever. But yeah, when I realized that that's kind of what they were looking for John, I thought, oh, okay. So just be me then, when I was younger. That kind of guy, yeah, I could probably pull that off. So, and then the other part of that question was in the epilogue, where it was John was more like the John that I knew before we did the prequel. So that, you know, stepping into that felt real comfortable again, you know. And at that point, you know, that was towards the end of shooting where we shot the majority, I guess, of the epilogue stuff. And so I had been back, you know, I guess to do motion capture, performance capture. Anyway, it's kind of a different thing. You've got to imagine everything. And then you also have to memorize your lines. So there's a lot to think about just to get yourself immersed in that world, I guess, and be prepared for it. And then not just memorize your lines, but say them in the way that they were meant to be said. I think once you get into that routine of doing that, it kind of clicks. You just get clicked in a little bit. But yeah, by the time the epilogue rolled around, I had been doing the other work as John for long enough that I think that helped a lot. Are there any scenes from either game that stand out to you as being quite difficult or that still stick with you? Oh my goodness, yeah. So I'm gonna just say two from Red Dead Redemption 2, and one of them I'm sure that I can spit this line out now. I know that I know it because Okay, so we did a take. This is when Angelo Bronte and all of his men had kidnapped Jack, and you're standing there at the gate and you gotta go let him know we're getting him back, whatever. You know the story. So Dutch says something to John about how'd that go for you or whatever the line is. I can't remember that part, and I can't even remember mine. But that's the thing, I couldn't remember it then either. 25, I think, takes for me to spit this line out, and I still don't think I got it right. I still think that we had to fix it in post, but it was something along the lines of yeah, nothing like antagonizing the man who's recently kidnapped your son to disrupt your sense of peace and well-being. And if Benjamin Byron Davis is watching this right now, he is clapping his hands and saying, "That's it, that's it." That was, I don't know why I couldn't spit that out. I probably still messed it up, but it was, I couldn't do it. So whatever. That was hard, and I don't know why, but it was. Another one that was hard was the final scene with John and Arthur, and that was hard because of what it meant, and it was also hard because it was the very last scene that we shot for the game. That, again, it's not all shot in sequential order, but we knew that it was the last day. We knew that we had done everything that we needed to do to kind of fix problems that we had created earlier and, make everything right. We had done all of that. And there was just this last scene with John and Arthur. And it was emotional because, like I said, what it was, and it was emotional too because of the fact that it was the end of an experience that lasted for me, probably 4 years working on Red Dead Redemption 2. But for so many people, so much longer. And when we did it, it was really emotional, and I will never forget it. It was one of the happiest and most emotional moments, honestly, well, definitely through work that I've ever experienced, ever. And one of the most emotional and happiest moments of my life. It was just a really overwhelming moment, sense of accomplishment coupled with the tragedy that was happening, and I will never forget it. It really had an impact on me. Do you think people's perception of John Marston has changed since your performance in the sequel? Yeah, I think so, and I think a lot of people don't like John as much as they used to. I think that the thing about this whole thing is John was around before Arthur, at least as far as we know, as far as the story, as far as the game's progression, right? Red Dead Redemption came out before Red Dead Redemption 2 is what I'm trying to say. So everybody got to know John, and not just get to know him, you became John. When you control a character around in a world, you become that character yourself. And I think that is part of what people like so much about these games, is because you become the character. Not only do you like the character because it's so well written, and because you've got the freedom to do so many different things with this character, you become that character. You make the choices for that character, and so you become attached to him. And yeah, I think people got real attached to John. I think they did. And then Undead Nightmare, that, people that enjoyed that solidified that more, I guess. And then Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, and people started playing as Arthur Morgan. And I think that at first, and I've read this, people didn't know what they thought about it, because they wanted to play as John, because that's what they knew, and that's what they were used to and understood. And they were playing as a different character, and obviously people grew to love Arthur Morgan, as they should. And but they also looked at John like, man, no, get out of here. You are not the one we want. We want Arthur. So, but I think that it's really great that they did it this way. And not only does it give you another person to really love, another character to really love and fall in love with, and become. It gives you the story, the backstory on why John is as strong as he is in Red Dead Redemption, why he is as determined he is, why he is who he is. He had some pretty big shoes to fill, and he absolutely wanted to make sure that he did his best at that. Respected his brother as much as he did. He wanted to make sure that he fulfilled what he thought Arthur's wishes were for him and his son and his wife. So yeah, it was really great how it all worked out. What were some of the acting challenges of playing the same character but much earlier in his life? How do you separate your own knowledge of where his story is heading? Okay, so I kind of answered part of this before by saying that I was very familiar with what I thought they were asking for in John, being someone that wanted all the respect that he saw his elders getting, and wanting so badly to be them, but not knowing how, because he didn't have the experience and he didn't have the knowledge and everything. So because I lived that, because that was me. Looking up to my sister's friends, basically, in high school. Yeah, I knew that pretty well. So to play that out, whatever. But how do you separate your own knowledge of where his story is heading? That was interesting, because I knew, obviously, the story of Red Dead Redemption, and I guess, one of the things that I knew for sure was that my character was going to survive through Red Dead Redemption 2. I knew that much. I knew who was going to make it. I knew who was going to live. So there was, I guess, that aspect of it, which I don't know really. You working for Rockstar, in my experience, you don't get all the information at once. You get it in pieces. So I didn't know what it was going to take for John to get from that punk, annoying kid to the man that he was in Red Dead Redemption. So it was always fun to learn more about what transformed him and what experiences he had to make him that man. So that was enjoyable for me, and I think that it was what I was most interested in, and I loved it. So it wasn't, I guess I can't say it was hard, but yeah, I did keep seeing, oh, wow, Hosea, wow, Arthur, wow, just didn't see it coming, didn't know until we knew, and wild. But yeah, I guess you had to see how John became who he became, and you knew that he was gonna live. Those are two of the bigger things, I guess, that made it easier for me to feel comfort in what was going on, I guess. Would you ever want to see a third or fourth, technically, installment, and what would you hope the focus be on? Yeah, I would absolutely want to see more. I would want to see more, and I want to say this because this is fair and it's truthful. I would want to see more whether John Marston is involved or not. I want to see more. Of course I want to see more. I am the storytelling that I've been fortunate enough to be part of for so long it's just so good. And in so many ways. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It'll make you angry. It'll make you think. It'll make you think, how do I feel about this? And right now I have an opportunity to really act on how I feel. It gives you freedom. It's something that I think the world really enjoys, and I think would love to have more of. So absolutely, I would love to see more. I can't imagine. I know that there are a lot of stories, a lot of untold stories that I could mention right now. Things that I think that I would like to know more about. But I think that I didn't know that there was ever going to be a prequel. I didn't know there was going to be a Red Dead Redemption 2. And as much as I wanted to work more, I really appreciated and tried to concentrate on the fact that I was given so much and enjoyment and life-changing experience in the time that I spent working on Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare. I think that I just kind of concentrated on that and was happy with that. And then when I found out they were doing a prequel, it absolutely overwhelmed me with joy. And I don't think that I could ask. I don't even think that I could. I mean, it's just so much easier, and I feel so much better about just saying thank you for what I've been given and don't try to ask for anything more. For me, for my participation, I guess. I've been so fortunate. I love it. I think more people should experience what I've experienced, and I hope that that happens. I hope that that happens for everyone's sake. And if they do have another story that involves John Marston, you can bet I will be there, and I will be the happiest one there. I can promise you that. But I do think that there should be more. I think people enjoy it. I think that there hopefully will be something down the road. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know any more than anyone else. But I would love to learn that there's more, and I would love to learn that I'm going to be part of it somehow. If there's more and I'm not part of it, I'm equally as excited for everyone who's involved, though. I promise you that. I want to just take a moment and say thank you again so much for giving me an opportunity to be part of MCM Comic Con. I know that this is not the way that anybody intended for this to play out, and it's not easy for anyone to accept that this is not happening the way that we planned it to. But I do appreciate so much the fact that you have asked me to be part of something like this, which is so special, and it is a great way to celebrate the anniversary, the 10-year anniversary of the release of Red Dead Redemption. And so thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who's tuned in, and I hope that you can all be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Just stay strong, all right? And thank you again. Take it easy. Be well.